Like most content creation houses out there, we try as possible to plan ahead with our content. We know what we're making, and when possible, we know when it needs to go out. Sometimes though, no matter how carefully our schedule is laid out, something comes along out of the blue and completely upends everything. Today is one of those days. You see, we've just learned that Tesla filed court papers against Rivian last week, undeniably its nearest rival in the small world of automakers that only make electric vehicles. It's not only attacking Rivian, but also going after 4 former Tesla employees by name, who it claims took proprietary secrets from Tesla to Rivian when they switched companies earlier this year. It's also detailing 20 further individuals that are former employees of Tesla, which Tesla says will be named as defendants at a later date. All of these, and Rivian, alleges Tesla violated the Uniform Trade Secrets Act. It says the former employees are in breach of contract, and it says Rivian engaged in intentional interference with Tesla employees' contracts. Frankly, this is going to get pretty messy. So let's look at the background information to this, make sure you're aware of some context about the auto industry, lay out the claims being made against Rivian by Tesla, and detail what Rivian's responses are to this point. And to be absolutely clear, I'm not a lawyer, I'm a journalist, and so I'm going to be using terms like allege and claim in covering this. This is not to dismiss either side of the case or to favour one side or another. Why? Because ultimately, this is for the courts to decide. While many people look at Rivian and see a brand new startup with a few years of experience to its name, it's important to point out that Rivian operated under stealth mode for nearly a decade before it burst onto the world stage in 2018. Founded in 2009 by MIT doctoral graduate R.J. Scaringe, Rivian originally started with the intention of working on autonomous electric vehicles, developing an ecosystem of vehicles that it planned to use to launch its own ride-sharing and driverless vehicle products. In 2016, with help from local governments and incentive programs, it purchased the manufacturing plant in Normal, Illinois, previously owned by Mitsubishi Motors. In fact, the very same plant where Mitsubishi produced its North American variant of the iMEV electric car. By November 2018, when it unveiled its Rivian R1T and Rivian R1S at the LA Auto Show, officially ending nearly 10 years of stealth operation, Rivian already looked like a serious contender. And in the intervening time, it's managed to receive a total of more than $6 billion in investment throughout a series of funding rounds. Its current investors include Amazon, Cox Automotive, Ford Motor Company, BlackRock, and T. Rowe Price, the latter of which was a pretty early and pretty big investor in Tesla until it sold most of its shares last year. T. Rowe Price is one of the newest firms to invest in Rivian, with the sole goal of helping it achieve series production of its R1T pickup by the end of this year. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, unlike some companies out in startup land, Rivian seems to be the real deal. It's an established company with a proven technology. I mean, I honestly don't think Amazon would have chosen Rivian to build 10,000 delivery trucks if it had nothing but a series of concepts and promises. And that's really important because it already had plenty of its own technology in place before hiring the employees from Tesla that Tesla alleges took stolen IP with them to Rivian. Yet the information that Tesla alleges is being stolen isn't information that you might think it is. It's information about Tesla's recruitment, its charging network, its sales, and its service. To be completely honest, Tesla's claims appear, given the information detailed in the court filings, to have some serious substantiation, including, in some instances, alleged admissions of guilt from some of the defendants. And frankly, this could spell a lot of trouble for Rivian. Tesla's claims, e-filed with the state of California on July 17th, detail a series of alleged transgressions against the named and unnamed defendants as well as Rivian, including violations of the NDA agreements at Tesla, Tesla's code of ethics, and its internet usage policy and technology systems and electronics communications policy. Yeah, that last one's a bit of a mouthful. Gotta love legal speak, eh? In total, Tesla says Rivian employs more than 178 former Tesla employees, 70 or so of which left Tesla to directly start employment at Rivian. And in the last 4 months or so, 22 employees have shifted their jobs from Tesla to Rivian. Tesla says, quote, "Using recently acquired sophisticated electronic security monitoring tools, Tesla investigators were able to catch 4 of those employees red-handed." Of those named as defendants, Tesla alleges everything from recruiting templates, structures, formulas, and other documents, all of which could be used for recruitment purposes, was stolen, as well as details pertaining to pay, reward programs, and other incentives for employees, details about manufacturing equipment and robotics, as well as a lot of stuff to do with charging networks. In some cases, Tesla says defendants have admitted forwarding emails to themselves from the company accounts before leaving and starting to work at Rivian. In the case of Carrington Bradley, Tesla's former manager for its charging programs, Tesla alleges he essentially poached Tesla's entire supercharger team for his own purposes at Rivian. In response to the alleged acts, some of which Tesla says defendants have already admitted to, Tesla's reached out to Rivian's legal team and alleged that Rivian's response was, quote, "cavalier," with Rivian's counsel stating that of the employees, who Tesla claims had stole information, have said that they deleted everything and no longer were in possession of said information. It goes on in the documentation to allege that Rivian's counsel noted that, quote, "taking confidential information was common in the industry." Tesla is, unsurprisingly, calling for a jury trial and says it wants all defendants to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. It also wants an injunction against all named defendants and says that it wants royalties for any of the alleged stolen information. It's not the only legal case Tesla is currently embroiled in, though. It's already well into its case with XPeng about stolen IP, and honestly, I don't think the Rivian case will be the last of these, at any stretch of the imagination. Why? Well, while you might not know this, it is unfortunately fairly common for large companies to file papers against each other, especially if those companies are not partners, have never worked together in the past, and happen to be direct rivals. Those cases usually revolve around exactly this scenario. Person A leaves company A and allegedly takes some of their previous work-related stuff with them when they go and join company B, which is a rival of company A. And in this case, Tesla and Rivian, they're direct rivals. Who's right, though? Well, again, I'm not a lawyer, but it is hard to argue anything but Tesla's filing is pretty compelling. And right now, while Rivian is officially denying the claims, I think from the evidence Tesla lays out, if backed up in a court of law with evidence, Rivian could be in a lot of trouble. But it's also important to acknowledge a few things first. The auto industry, like the tech industry, and in fact, pretty much every other industry where specialist knowledge is key to success, is pretty incestuous. And by that, I mean that when people leave one company, they're almost guaranteed to go and work at a rival company. In the wider tech world, where there are many, many more tech companies than there are electric car companies, it's less likely that multiple people from one company will end up leaving that company and moving to another company where they work on rival projects for a rival company. Which is maybe where Rivian's counsel's statement came from. Yeah. In the automotive world, specifically the electric car world, it's pretty much a given that people will move from one company to a rival firm. It's just like when I was a professional oboist. If a musician left a particular orchestra to go and work somewhere else, you could pretty much guess who would fill that space from a list of candidates, and usually you'd be right. The same, interestingly, was actually true about the music teaching world. Tesla's NDA agreement, like most NDA agreements, is pretty comprehensive in what it deems employees can and cannot take with them to a new job at a rival firm. In some ways, you could argue that the terms almost constitute a non-compete agreement, meaning trouble for anyone who leaves to go and work at any form of rival firm in the same sector. In this case, though, of course, it's not about who can go and work where, but the alleged stealing of documentary information, and as I've already said, that if Tesla's claims are backed up in court by testimony and further evidence, then both Rivian and the defendants are going to be in a lot of trouble. While the act of transferring documents is and should be illegal, It is difficult, though, to prosecute a former employee who used their accumulated experiences at one firm to spearhead a new project at another firm. Experiences and knowledge of the industry that we keep upstairs in our heads cannot easily be kept under lock and key. And when a company is hiring, they will hire people with experience and knowledge from their past jobs, very often in the same sector. Tesla has in the past hired people from mainstream automakers, and so too does every other startup. In this case then, the lesson to learn is this. If you get poached by a rival firm, be sure you don't take any documents with you, because that is illegal. But you are going to find it very hard not to use your past experiences to shape your future. That's it for today's video. I'm super glad you stopped by. If you'd like to help us make more videos like this one, please do like, comment and subscribe, and you can support us using the links below, which now include Ko-fi, Patreon and Bitcoin. Don't forget too that you can chat with the rest of the Transport Evolved team on Discord, as well as other Transport Evolved fans. There's a link below. And if you're a Patreon supporter, in addition to those open free chats, you'll also get access to special patron-only Discord chats. Thanks to the folks scrolling by on my right. They are our charged up patrons. Thanks go to Jeffrey Songster, John Lyons and Regine Fellows, our self-driving patrons, and special thanks to our Starman level patrons Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback and Sean Udea. If you're looking for something else to watch from this channel, Google thinks you might enjoy this one, so go and check it out if you haven't, and I'll be back with more content for you all to enjoy very, very soon. Until next time, wash your hands, stay safe, wear a mask when you're out and about, and work to become a better, kinder person. Remember to strive for equality, speak out against injustices and bullies, and treat others as you'd like to be treated yourself. Remember, be the change. And if you are exercising your democratic right to peacefully assemble and protest, please be smart about it. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep evolving.